Alright, Assalamualaikum and well, good afternoon, everyone. It seems that only Adina is here. Yay! That's okay because I will be recording our class. So for those of you who can't make it, I hope you are watching this on the recorded version. Hopefully, hopefully if I manage to upload it on YouTube sometime soon, hopefully. Yeah. But anyhow, don't worry so much because, like I said, this class should be a very relaxing one. Yeah. Get your coffee, get your drinks, get your tea, or if you're still celebrating, get your kuih raya and listen to me mumbling about storytelling, journalism, and media and whatever. So yeah, so let's go. So let's share my screen. What to see what I've planned for you today. So basically, today I would like to share a bit about what I call, not what I call, is a proper term, yeah, in media, in video production, yeah, basically visual storytelling. Yeah, whether you're making videos or you're making something visual, there's always a term that you will come across, which is storyboard. Okay, storyboard. Remember last week I shared to you a bit about storytelling, how you tell your story. There is a structure to it. So in order for you to translate your story, whether it's in the form of a script or article into a video, a visual storytelling, first you need to create your storyboard. Okay. Now, just like what the name implies, it's basically telling your story in a board, so to speak. Yeah, it can be a physical board. You can fill it out. You can fill it out in a board like that and show it to everyone, or you can also make it a digital one. Yeah, you if you have an iPad or what, you can scribble on it and then you share it with everyone else, the PDF. As long as it tells your story, not in the written form, but in a sketches form. You sketch, or maybe there are photos, and also there are now some information about the scenes. The scenes, SCENE, the scenes. What kind of shot do you want? And what kind of lighting, what kind of character you have on the screen, and so on. Okay, you start to have more details about the final video later on. Storyboard is basically a document to help your team, to help your team manage the whole production. Okay, you see, the final video later on is not by just one person. Okay, there is someone who directs it. There is someone who manage the booking of the place, for example. Manage to get the people to come. In your case, if you plan to have an interview with a lecturer or a researcher, there will be some time for you to plan to contact them, to make an appointment with them, whether to come to their room to interview and so on. Later on, not today, but later on in later classes, I will share with you final videos of previous students, and some of them did went to the lecturers' rooms to interview, but some of the groups also go to someplace else where they can speak a bit more freely. Okay, I personally prefer to for you to talk at somewhere different so that the background looks nicer. Okay, maybe you can interview the lecturer next to the lake, for example. Yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe in the library perhaps, because the library is quiet. Yeah, if you can get a quiet place, then your audio will be much better. Okay, so but that one is much later. Okay, today I would like to share with you what is a storyboard. Okay, basically just a document that starting to have some details about the final product. Okay, I will show you what I mean first. Some examples first. I will start with, I think I just go through with my slides. storyboard. Okay, for videography, I will hopefully, yeah, depending on my mood and depending on my availability. Like today, I'm quite busy with eating. Uh, yeah, in Malaysia, we're still celebrating Raya, unfortunately. I say unfortunately because in each and every one of these events, you have to eat, yeah, and yeah, a bit more calorie lah, yeah. Okay, so hopefully we will have 3 videography session, and finally with the editing, and I will focus on using Canva. Okay, Canva is now a very powerful tool. Everyone should know how to use it, especially even for video editing. Okay, that's why I'm focusing on Canva later on. All right. So when I say I will expose you to some introduction about video production, I don't expect you to have uh, to be using this kind of equipment. Okay, this kind of video recorder, I think it's just a video recorder. Okay, just a video production team. This is a very high-end product. Okay, this is used by big uh, productions, movie production houses who has this high-end camera. I don't expect you to use this, but the same techniques, the same steps that you take to produce high-end videos, I will share it with you in this class. Okay. All I ask is for you to use your mobile phone, but the steps in producing those videos will be the same. Okay. And the steps is basically before shooting, during shooting, and after the shooting. Okay. What do you do with it? Because whenever people talk about creating a video, most of the time we are focusing on the actual recording, you know, where do you want to go, what do you want to say, what equipment do you want to use, and so on. But people almost always forgot that there's always a planning part and the doing part, and also the post-production part, where you edit, where you put in some graphics, audio, video, extra video, and so on. That part is also important. And that's why for today, I would like to share with you what you should do before the recording. Okay, and it starts with creating the storyboard. And also this picture should tell you that in order for you to produce a video, it's not a one-man thing. You need to have a team. Okay, in this case, most probably this is the DP, that's the photography, or the director himself. Yeah, but most of the time this is the videographer. The director, maybe this guy, I don't know, maybe normally they are very close, working together. Yeah, not this guy because he doesn't look like doing anything. Maybe he's the assistant director, maybe. Yeah. All
Doctor,
right,
sorry. I think you're not sharing your screen.
I'm not.
Hmm,
It says here sharing my screen. It says here stop sharing some more.
but it's not
Ding.
here.
It's not there. What do you mean it's not there? Wait. Ah, let me stop and start again. Stop sharing, and then let's share again. Okay. Now can you see it?
Yep, can.
Okay. Okay. Maybe let's just stick to this one then, so that we are not, you know, losing everyone. Where was I? Okay. So basically, in the production of a video, there's always the before part, the during part, and the after part. And what do we do during those parts? I simplify into these 3 steps also. Okay, the before part, you need to do the storyboard. The during part is all about how you arrange or plan your camera movement. Okay, and I will share with you next week why these movements are important. Okay, especially in producing B rolls. Okay, B, B rolls. Uh, and also finally the after recording part. is what I call the editing. Why is editing important? Because that's where you make sure your structure of storytelling is there. You make sure there's a setup, and there's a conflict, and then there's a resolution. There's a three part. Because sometimes when you record something, you might not notice that it's not arranged in the right order. Only during editing that you will notice all those things. Okay, so today I would like to share with you on the storyboard first. Okay, so what is it? So basically, storyboard is just the visual representation of the sequence of events. Now that's the most important part, because when the script writer, for example, is writing the script, and they show it to the executive producer. The producer say, "Oh, this is a good story, very good." But you see, not everyone can visualize what they are trying to do. And you might ask, "So what? Why does it need that? Why do we need the story to be visualized?" You see, when I said we need a team to produce a video, a film, uh, each of one of the important member of the team, for example, is the stage manager, for example. I'm just making it simpler for you. This stage manager or the project manager is the one who books a place, for example, who books the actors, the talents to come at a certain date and what time is it, because you need to be efficient with the time. Some scenes might not be recorded in sequence. For example, if you are recording something in outside the house, so you need to book the house, for example. But for the other scenes, these are all inside. What do you call, not inside, indoor shots. So indoor shot might be taken in a studio. You see, you don't have to have the house actually. So you might book this on a different day, but you record the rest of the shots on a different day. Okay, so all the other shots can be done in one day, for example. So the project manager or the floor manager, stage manager, I don't know what the exact names are, because of the storyboard, they can plan ahead on how to get everyone, not everyone, but get the right people on the right day at the right time. And that can only be done if you have a storyboard. Of course, people can read the script, but you see, for a film, for example, the script is not something, it's not a simple document. Sometimes the script can be that thick. So who has the time to look at the whole script to understand what the story is about? And sometimes even the actor don't even read the whole script. They only read their parts, you see. So only with a storyboard that everyone can understand the flow of the story. eh? You might see that, okay, you might talk about the makeup artist, for example. You might say that only on these days, with this actor in, the makeup artist is available, for example, because for the other guy, you don't need so much makeup. Just for the sake of example. So in that case, you can plan for the makeup artist to attend on a certain day only. Yeah. And they have to make sure that the actors are wearing the same clothes and so on. All right. So basically, storyboard is about the advantage of having a storyboard is more on the planning side, so that everyone is on board of what is going on. Yeah. That's the whole idea. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah. All right. You might ask, is it compulsory to have a storyboard? Now, compulsory or not, it's not like a legally required thing. But like I said, you are working in a team. It's in the best interest for everyone to understand how the story flows. Okay, because sometimes even as a director, he might have an idea of how to do this. But let's say someone else who understood the story might say that, hey boss, maybe it's better to have a car here, for example. I'm just giving you a simple example. A shot of a house, a mailbox, trees, and the apa nama, the location manager said, hey boss, for this kind of house, it's better to have a car outside lah. You see, so that kind of input actually helps make the film better. Why? Because they understood the story. So imagine if the team doesn't understand the story because there's no storyboard. So the story, the final film or the video might not be so interesting. You see, so that's the importance of a storyboard. The importance of storyboard. It might be needed. It might not be needed. I leave it to the team, but it helps everyone if you have a storyboard and everyone knows how the story is moving along. Yeah. Now, for your, okay, to relate this to your group work, I want to be clear that I don't ask you to present the storyboard. All I ask for you for the group presentation and not group presentation, group video, group assignment, is just a video. Okay. So whether or not your group create a storyboard, I leave it to you. But I would like to stress that having a storyboard will help your group to plan your video better. Okay, especially on arranging the B rolls. Okay, B rolls. I hope I say it right. B rolls. Okay. Okay. I apologize for not explaining what this is about, but I think it's a bit self-explanatory. As you can see, there are squares of photos, sketches, not actual photos, but sketches of 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 something. Yeah. So I hope you can appreciate that the rectangles are actually your screen. Yeah. So storyboard is basically showing you how the screen will look like, what appears on the screen basically, right? So you want to start with the house, establishing shot, and then we start with the character, establishing shot. Who are they? Blah blah blah. Who are they? And then there are some text. Okay, text on the underneath the squares are used to put the script or the narration. Okay, because anything that explains what's happening inside the squares. Okay. So one ordinary Thursday, for example, this one, I noticed something out of the ordinary. Ordinary, out of the ordinary. So my brother Jeremy was not being annoying. Okay. So Jeremy, you're being weird. Okay, that's the script. I'm just happy to see my super amazing sister. What are you hiding? So nothing. Come clean, my God. Okay, okay, okay. I ate all of your chocolate. Macam tu. All right. You might ask, is that it? Okay. You see, okay, stories don't have to be complete. Yeah, stories don't have to be to end with they live happily ever after or something like that. As long as the story have a beginning, middle, and end, that's a story. Okay, and for me, a good journalist should be able to arrange the information in these three parts. Okay, arrange it in, in the category of setup, conflict, resolution. Okay. In my opinion, the first four squares is about establishing, about setting up of the characters. Okay, setting up the house. So you know that in the house there should be a family living in, and we are introduced to the sister, and then the sister is meeting the brother. So my brother was not being annoying. So that's the something out of the ordinary. Sister said, Jeremy, you're being weird. I'm just happy. So this is the conflict because she thinks that something is going on, because she's not. Her brother is not being annoying. That's the conflict. Conflict. So we need the resolution. The resolution is that okay lah. I ate all of your chocolate. Ha 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 ha. Itu lah dia. Okay. It's just a simple uh siblings rivalry, not rivalry, but siblings punya hal lah in the family, eh? About how a brother eats all the sister's chocolate. Okay, simple story, but if you notice, it moves from the character. We know where and who they are. So what's the conflict? Because the sister wants to know what's happening. Are you hiding something? That's the conflict. And then the resolution, the reveal of what actually is happening. Three parts, moving. Okay, three parts. Okay, you might also ask, why do we need this? Yeah, I've mentioned about visualization. So it helps the team to plan. And also it's all about communication. Because the storyboard will become a tool to help everyone understand what's going on. Okay, reduce what? I think I deleted something without me realizing. It's I think this is to reduce miscommunication. Let's start that so that I remember what it is. To reduce miscommunication and to reduce errors. Uh, for the final video. I give you some more example, but this one is a bit more complicated, with a bit more detail on the on the sketches itself. Even the video, even the text have two things. It has a video, the movement of the video, and also it has a VO. VO stands for voice over. Okay, voice over, the narrator's voice. Okay, whatever is needed, expertise is flexibility. And then there's the music, people moving, a doctor moving, I think, growing from each new experience. A doctor checking on a patient. Doctor goes to list the patients. Expertise is adapting and changing. Expertise is always learning. I think this is for a commercial or something. Maybe useful for a hospital setup or something, for a commercial for a hospital. Yeah. So storyboard is important for all sorts of video production. It can be a commercial video, film, but it can also for advertisement like this. Yeah. So if you have the understanding of how important a storyboard is, it can be used for all sorts of projects. Even a simple video of an interview with the lecturer, which is what I expected the group to do. So basically, okay, the elements of a storyboard is that it's a frame by frame sequencing, and there is the description of what the shots need to be. Okay. Now, for this example, it's quite detailed. Yeah, how the video is transitioned as the doctor enters the consulting room, doctor exits lift into walkway, blah blah blah, walks towards the front door. That's very detailed. So I don't expect you to be able to produce this. In fact, I didn't ask you to show this even for your final group. But for the weekly one, I think for week 6, no, not week, for the task number 6, number 5, task number 5, I will be asking you to create a simple storyboard. I will share with you some examples today on what I expect. Okay, starting with my own example, which is a story called The Rain. A simple story, because now it's raining every afternoon. It rains every day now. So what better way to share with you with an example of a storyboard about the rain. All right. Like I said, I want you to be able to divide it into 3 parts: setup, conflict, resolution. Okay. Now, I must also tell you that there is no specific format for this. You can create something like this, the one that I showed you before. Something simple like this, you just sketch on a square, blah, blah, blah. It can be as detailed as this, like this, or it can be as simple as this, okay? A sketch just in a 3 boxes, okay? It doesn't even have to be a rectangle boxes. I leave it to you. I specifically make this a vertical one, because I think nowadays we all watch stories, reels, shorts on YouTube. They are all vertical ones, yeah, vertical videos. So yeah, it doesn't matter if you want to produce a vertical one. This example only requires three boxes, yeah, setup, conflict resolution. So the story is this. These ones are all the narration, the narrations or the text. I I I don't create. I normally I don't like to create video with scripts because with voice, because it's quite difficult to get a good voice actor. So normally I use narration. She's just a text on the screen, okay? Because you can tell a story as well. So the story goes like this. The setup is that it rains again today. Okay, rain, 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 rain. So the conflict is that when it's raining, rain wets things. I hope I can make this a bit slightly bigger. Okay. Rain wets things. Rain slows things. Rain stops things. Stops meaning that imagine you're in a traffic jam. Yeah. Normally when it's raining, the traffic jam is even worse, isn't it? The car goes even slower because the road is slippery, so everyone is being a bit more careful, so it's slower. Even worse if it happens on a Friday evening like today. If it rains today at 4, half past 4, the traffic jam will be a nightmare in UM. Yeah, conflict, conflict, conflict. But that's okay. But that's okay is where you come to the resolution because the rain always stops for new life to start. Okay, you understand, right? When you plant something, you need both water and the sunshine, right? So, because the rain always stops for new life to start. That's actually a leaf. That's actually a raindrop. For those who are still trying to figure out what that is, I'm trying to draw a leaf with a raindrop. Actually, I'm a bad artist. So yeah, there you have it. So the scene is that a shot of rain going down, and then there's a shot of a person. Maybe it's me, maybe it's you, I don't know. Maybe a person looking out the window, feeling sad. Look at the mouth. Very sad. Actually, I draw this with my finger, okay? I don't have an iPad or what do you call those things? Stylus. I don't have a stylus. I drew this with my fingers, so it's kind of funny. And finally, the final scene is that of raindrops coming down a leaf, a close up of a leaf with a raindrop, dropping off it. So that's the idea, okay? And establishing shot, a wide shot maybe, and then there's a medium shot, and then we end with a close up shot. Close up, close up. It rains. What happens when it rains? And then because it's okay because rain always stops. For new life to start. Simple, isn't it? But I hope you notice or you appreciate that there is a three part to it. Simple story, but make it three part. Or if it's more than three part, make sure it can be uh, grouped together into a certain part. And those groups comprises of three groups. Make up three groups for the story. Just like this one. Just like this one. The first three, I think, is the setup, or maybe this, maybe not. Yeah. And the second three is the conflict, including this. And then complete maggot, that's the resolution. That's the resolution. Okay. Make sure it can be grouped into three, or you can create three boxes. Okay, that's it. All right. So now let's share with you some of the storyboards that is produced by students before you. Some of them, these are the good ones. The good. I share with you the good ones. So I hope you guys can also create some good ones. And later, I will share with you uh, some websites that can help you create storyboards. This is a new thing. When I started this course, there is no such thing, no such websites to help you. But nowadays there are a lot, so you can use any of them, or you can, if you are creative, you can draw on your own. One of the students actually drew, no, not one, but one of them drew quite well. I will share it with you. Okay. Now, the first is, I think it's quite simple, and he or she actually follows my, my instruction to the dot. So she drew three boxes. So someone planned to eat biscuits. Okay, that's the setup. It's just like that. Someone suddenly dreamed to eat a biscuit, a cookie, if you're American, and then when she went to the kitchen, there is only one left. One left. Bukan one leaf. There is only one left. So what happened? The resolution is that, oh, let's share it with my sister. Although you want to eat a cookie, a biscuit, but you only find one, but that's not the point. The even better point is that you can share it. Now you have a chance to share it with someone you love. Yeah, that's the story. Simple story, and that's why I chose it for to be included in the class because I think it's very beautiful. Simple but beautiful story. It's a story about relationship actually, but using cookies, using biscuits. It's a story about relationship. That's why I share it with you guys. Okay. Okay, this is a bit long. I divided into three. Let's see if we can follow the story. The story starts with someone waking up. Here we go again, bangun dari katil. The the description is in bahasa, by the way. So, makan sorang-sorang, camera zoom out. After waking up, it shows the hero eating on their own. And then he looks out the window. Suddenly, he thought that bestnya ada ramai kawan. It would be good if I have lots of friends, okay? I think it's fun if you have lots of friends, something like that, okay? And then the conflict, okay? The conflict is that the person would like to find new friends, because they thought that having lots of friends would be nice. But tidak berjaya, not successful. He can't find anyone to talk to. He can't find anyone, to do anything together. He also tried online. This is offline. This is online. Trying to call everyone or messaging everyone. No one answers his text. Even in a group WhatsApp. I think that's what he's trying to show. In the end, he give up and sedih. Give up dan sedih. Being upset. So he gave up and upset about it. Okay, that's the conflict. So the resolution is that, and then while she's walking, I think the person is a she because she's wearing a skirt. Or I don't know whether that's a very long t-shirt. So they're walking and suddenly something dropped. And actually someone came by dan tolong and help. Awak okay ke? And just say these simple words. Are you okay? Awak okay ke? And then there's a flashback. Actually, that person is a long lost friend. So actually, suddenly, sedar yang quality matters more over quantity. So that's the story. The reason why I include this is because I think it's a very relatable story. Yeah. Where in life, actually, you don't need that many friends. You only need that friend. Yeah. You only need that person. And sometimes you realize it much later, or you realize it when you are faced with something that you can't solve. Yeah, in this case, the person wants to find more friends, but actually all he needs is just that friend, which happens to be an old friend. That's the story. Okay. Of course, you might say that tak logik lah, bro. Apa benda ni, takkanlah dia tak boleh cakap dengan orang lain kan? Takkanlah tak ada orang jawab dia punya WhatsApp. You see, in a story, it doesn't have to be logical. If it's logical, most of the time it will be a boring story. Okay? I always tell people that one, story doesn't have to be complete. Yeah. And second, to make it interesting, it must have a bit of illogical elements. Okay. if it's too logical, it will not be interesting. Okay, Avengers, MCU, Marvel Universe, Cinematic Universe. If it's too logical, it will not be as successful as that. Suddenly there's alien out there trying to destroy the whole universe. Are you sure? Where's the proof of it? Where's the evidence? If you start asking those kind of questions, it makes the story a bit meh. It's not interesting. So as long as the story is in three parts, that's a good story already. Okay, so make sure your story is told in three parts. Okay, next. This is also a simple story. I included it because, of course, also it's relatable. The title is that our hands can tell stories too. That's the story. Okay, that's the title. It starts with this. It uses four boxes, by the way. A bit odd, but it's okay. Four boxes. It goes from here to here to here to here. Okay. It shows what our hands are doing every day. A normal stressful day of a student. Okay. On their phone, on their tablet, writing, drawing, whatever. And also when they go for lunch, they also use their hands, either their hands or the fork and spoon, blah, blah, blah. And suddenly the hand decided to have an ice cream as a reward. you know. It's okay. But for today, suddenly the ice cream fell. Oh no. But it's okay. A friend can help cheer you up and buy another one. And the friend which come in the form of another hand. Okay. So the story is that our hands also need other hands. Something like that. Okay. A simple story. Again, you might think that, is that even a story? Is that logical? If it's too logical, then it will not be an interesting story. Okay. So it's story about a hand. Work. And also the hand also want to relax, get an ice cream, but suddenly the ice cream, alamak, jatuh. But it's okay. Another hand can come to help you. The story is that you cannot live alone, and shit happens. Bad things can happen to you, but it's okay because exactly because we don't live alone, that anything bad that can happen to us, there is always someone there for you. Okay? It's a very positive feeling, and I think that's a good story, and that's why I share it with you. Okay. Now next, is the one that I said that the student is really good in drawing. But that's okay. If you cannot draw as good as her, that's fine. Okay. It's quite a funny story. It's not serious. It's quite funny. And it's good because the students is very good at drawing. The story that is that one day Ria felt pain in her stomach. Ooh, my stomach hurts. Blah, blah, blah. A medium shot of her feeling very uneasy. And then she decided to Google it. I should Google the symptoms. Blah blah blah. There's a shot of her doing the search. Suddenly, what she found is that when googling is that the answer, it could be stomach cancer, it could be good symptoms, could be very very bad things. You see. So perhaps never mind. She regrets googling it. Perhaps she shouldn't ask Google. Yeah, and I think it's very relatable. I think some of us might have done the exact same thing. You felt something, or you want to you feeling something, and then you suddenly you search for it, and it really only the bad things come up. Yeah. So again, this is a four boxes storyboard. You can use four. Setup. I think this two is the conflict, and this one is the resolution. Okay, maybe perhaps you don't have to search it. Yeah. There's another keyword here that she uses, which I want to share with you. In between conflict and resolution, or before, sorry, to mark the conflict or to mark the resolution part, normally people use this. Suddenly, all these things happen. Like in the story of Cinderella. Suddenly, the clock strikes 12 midnight. You know, suddenly, sang kancil nampak buaya di seberang sungai. You see, that is all devices, devices of a good story to help you shift from a setup into the conflict. Okay, suddenly, tiba-tiba, uh, suddenly the results of the Google search shows all these very bad things, extreme bad things, stomach cancer, gut symptoms, blah blah blah. And the resolution is that perhaps he doesn't have to search for it. Okay, so suddenly goes into conflict, and then you go into resolution. Next. Now, this is very relatable to you guys as a student. I think some of you even experience this. Yeah. You ask a friend of you to come together to library to study. To university students decided to study in the library, blah blah blah. So they excitedly go to the library, the setup, the setup, the setup. 20 seconds later, the conflict. Both of them fell asleep. Maybe they shouldn't go to the library in the first place. So that's the resolution. Okay. Setup, nak conflict, rupanya tak boleh study. Okay. So that's the story. A simple story, I know. Again, people might ask, oh, who goes to the library and not study? Okay. Again, like I said, if you keep on asking, or if the story is very logical, then it might not be an interesting story. Okay. Again, let me stress the importance of arranging your story in 3 parts: setup, conflict, resolution. Okay, always remember that. Okay, another one which I think have that distinction quite clearly. Not much more to this, don't worry. So basically, two friends go to one of their places to have a sleepover. Okay. In the middle of the night, they get hungry and decide to order food. Okay, this is the start of the conflict. But they want a different topping for their pizza. Okay, disagree on the pizza topping. So they said, let's battle it out. The conflict. Okay, game one, Uno. Game two, rock paper scissors. Game three, Just Dance. Even after 3 games, they still don't know what they should choose. Okay, in the end, both exhausted, they decide to order half pizza. Okay, half get what they want, and the other half get what they want. So that's the resolution. Okay, the setup is two friends. The conflict is that they don't know what to eat. They decided to have pizza, but don't know what the topping. Actually, this is a very extended conflict. So the conflict also goes into what games they want to play, and the resolution is that they still don't know what to order for the toppings. So they go with the half one. So one person get one half, and the other person get the other half. Okay, that's the resolution. Also a story, a simple story, but still a story. Okay. Uh, this one, I think you can read it on your own later. But I want to show you this, a simple one. Okay, someone studying. Maybe I should get some books from the living room. So the living room is going through the kitchen. Okay, wow, I should eat these fruits before they go bad. And then he picks the fruit and go back to his room. Wait, what was I going to do? See, an unfinished story, but still a story. That's my point. Okay. As long as it's told in a structured 3-part manner, that's fine. Okay. Setup, student studying, starting of the conflict, deciding to get another book. The conflict itself is that he actually forgot what he was doing. So he took some fruits because he thinks that the fruit might go bad. Uh, so he goes back to the room and suddenly he remembers, hey, what was I doing just now? Something like that. Okay. It's an hanging story, an unfinished story, yes, but still a story. Okay, still a story. So that's what I want. So why am I keep on telling you this is because of the task number 5. It's not about how exciting or how complicated the story should be. It's about whether you can structure it in a 3-part manner. That's all I ask. Okay. The next story is about TikTok. There was a time in 2024, I think, in January 2024, 25, I can't remember, where America, the US, United States, banned TikTok. I think it was for a month or 2 weeks. I can't remember. Okay. And then suddenly it was everyone can't use TikTok. So they jumped into this Chinese TikTok, which is called Red Note. One day, US banned TikTok. Nani? So Peter was shocked by the news. So someone said use Red Note instead, said his friend. So welcome aboard. La la la. So because it's a Chinese app, so there's a Chinese word there. So Peter said, so I'm safe? Oh, thank you, Red Note. But later on, you take a look at the comment section, everything is in Chinese. And also, you see, Chinese users might culturally be a different kind of community. Okay. So they might show you their cat. Hi, friends from China. This is my cat. Uh, Maybe they're safe because there's a replacement for TikTok, but actually it's not very useful because culturally it's not the same. So that's a story. Okay, a simple one, I agree, but still a story. Okay, those people in those days are called TikTok refugee. In those days, I think for about a month or so, because later on the ban was lifted and everyone can use TikTok again. So everyone is happy. Again, a simple story, but because it's arranged in a 3-part structure, that's fine. All right. So last but not least, I want to share with you on how you can use an AI to create your storyboard. Now, AI is very clever nowadays. You can use any AI. You can upload your sketches here, and the prompt could be as simple as create a 6 boxes storyboard to represent the story that I've sketched in here. Okay, look at the words. The words is almost the same, but this is using ChatGPT, a very early version of ChatGPT. I can't remember when I did this. If you notice that the word sometimes is wrong, eh? When I did this, Gemini is not good. Gemini is not even can't even produce graphics yet at that time. But nowadays, I think Gemini is one of the best ones. So I highly encourage you to use Gemini for this task. So using your sketches of storyboard, go to Gemini and write a simple prompt as simple as create storyboard using my sketches, but draw the characters or the scene much clearer and with much more detail. That's it. Yeah, and see what output you can get. But other than the I just found out that there is a few websites that can help you to create the storyboard. I didn't manage to go through it, but you can. You have the time, go through it and see whether it can help you to tell your story. Yeah. One is Storyboarder at onedayunit.com. Another one is Storyboard That. This is one of the oldest one. I've used this in 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Storyboardthat.com. We also have boots.com. I think that's how it was pronounced. Boots, Boords.com. And last but not least is studiobinder.com. Yeah. I think this is also an old one. Not old as in old, but uh, one of the earlier one, yeah, but it's actually focusing on the short list, which is also can be used as a storyboard. Okay, either you draw your own, or you use an AI, or you use this website, doesn't matter. Okay, because all I ask is for you to upload it here, minimum with the 3 scene, for you to upload it here, just the images. Okay, I haven't uploaded mine yet. I think I will upload it here later on for you to look at as an example. Okay, I might also upload some examples from previous classes as well here. Okay, but again, I would like to stress that there is no such thing as best story. I don't expect you to create a blockbuster kind of storyline. All I ask is for you to be able to start arranging your story in a three-part structure. Okay, decide on a subject and a story. Okay. Okay, I give you one example now that I remember. A simple one, okay? Maybe relatable to you as well as a student or Malaysian in general. You know how we Malaysian always don't know what to eat, what and where to eat, So the short starts with someone's hungry. Look, someone's hungry, scrubbing their tummy, rubbing their tummy. Ooh, hungry. The setup. The setup is a character rubbing their tummy. Oh, I'm hungry. And then there's a pop-up over their head showing that what to eat. And the conflict is that there are so many places to eat on campus. There are cheap ones, expensive ones, nice menu, delicious one, everything, KK4, KK7, KK12, he and she, Zeus, whatever, all sorts of all these images. And suddenly, bling, the face of your best friend. Hey, let's eat lah, Zappan lah. So actually, uh, makan nasi bungkus lah, actually, with a good friend, any food also can. So that's the resolution, okay? So basically, the setup is someone hungry. The conflict is that there are too many options. And the resolution is that actually anything is fine as long as you eat with a friend. Go into the Friendster perhaps. Now we have Friendster in KK12. I know it's not cheap, but anything is good with your friend. That's the message. You can eat anything as long as it's with a friend. It will be good. Okay, it will be good. So that's the story. Okay. Or another one, suddenly I remember. Suddenly, kan. So you wake up late. 9 a.m. That's the setup. Someone waking up late. So the conflict is that need to be apa nama? Siap for in a very short time. Nak panggil Grab lagi, nak panggil sapu lagi. Suddenly he remembers that it's a Saturday. There's no class on Saturday. Simple one. Okay. Waking up late, getting ready. The conflict is that don't know what to wear, don't know what to eat, whether you have time to go to class. The resolution is that ding, suddenly he realizes, hey, it's Saturday lah. It can be a story. And the title can be It's Saturday lah. That's a story, right? As long as it's told in three-part structure. Okay. Setup, conflict, resolution. Okay. Setup, a person hungry or a person wake up late. The conflict is that so many options to eat or getting ready. It's very difficult, very fast in a quick time. And the resolution is that any food is good with your friend or realize that, hey, actually today is the weekend lah. No class. Okay. Three-part structure, that's a good story. Okay. So don't decide whether, alamak, boring lah. Don't decide that yet, A story is a story, but it will be good if it's told in a three-part structure. And how best to do that? is by using a storyboard. Because by using storyboard, why is it important? Because everyone now can understand the story. Okay. So I also ask you, for those of you who are excited to create your video, you can also create your video, okay? But it's optional. I don't ask you to create your video yet. A video would be for the next task. But if some of you might be excited to create your video, I allow you to do that. But it's not compulsory, okay? It's optional. I want to see how you translate your idea into a storyboard first. Okay, sorry, I got a sore throat. Okay, before I end, a follow up to my earlier question. Some of you might ask, is it compulsory or not? There is another situation where you might not need a storyboard when you're doing everything on your own. Okay, if you're a content creator, you are the one who directs the content, the shooting, and the editing. In that case, you might not need a storyboard. But if you have, then it will highly help you to plan. Okay, because a good content creator doesn't do one video, everything for one video. You know what I mean? A good content creator actually uh, records everything, a lot of things in bulk, and later on they also edit in bulk. Meaning that they record a lot of b-rolls, a lot of scenes, and then on during editing they can produce many videos. Yeah. So with a storyboard, it will really help you to plan your shooting and your editing. Okay. But yeah, if you are working on your own, you might not need a storyboard, but it will help you in the planning part. Okay. So it's important, but not compulsory, but important part of your workflow. Okay. In producing video. All right. So again, I noticed that some of you still haven't upload all your tasks. I encourage you to upload your task as the time goes along, because this semester is quite short. We started on week 3, if you notice. Not week 3, of course we start on week 1, but week 1 we have Puasa and then we have Raya. And then later on, at the end of May, we have a few holidays stacked close together. Raya Haji, Awal Muharram, the Agong's birthday, and so on. And some of you might be, participating in listening in Kavita and so on. So this semester is quite packed. All right. So I advise you to do this earlier if you can, or if not, at least follow the time. Because now it's week 6 already, so you should have already have a look at task 6. I know there's only 10 tasks. There's not that there is no 14 tasks. There's only 10 tasks or homework. But it would be in your advantage to have a look at them as early as you can. Okay. I will share with you what the previous students have done so that you can benchmark yourself on the quality of the storyboards and the final video. But for now, I encourage you to have a look at all these tasks, to read them, and if you can do it now. Don't wait until week 14 to do it. Okay. And also, I would like to congratulate everyone on submitting your first assignment. My apologies if I haven't got the time to look at it first, but a few that I have actually is a very good quality. So I'm looking forward to look at all of them. And and and, and I'm the kind of person who are uh not kedekut lah. If I think you have fulfilled the requirement, I give you A already. Okay, don't worry so much about that. And also for the individual assignment 2 and assignment 2, 1 and 2, the difference might be very small. Okay, if you, let's say, your friend got an A and you got a B plus, for example, just rest assured that the marks is not that different. Okay, the grade might look different, but actually the marks is not that different, because the final grade is the more important one. Okay, don't worry. If you think you have done a good job compared to your friend, and yet the grade is different, because for your assignment, I will not give you the marks. You see, I will only give you the grade. So it might look different, A and A minus, for example, or A minus and B plus. But don't worry, because the mark is very, very close together. The only difference will be when it's all counted for the final marks. Now that will make the difference. And the biggest difference comes whether or not you submit the weekly task, the weekly homework. Some students in the past didn't perform well because they didn't submit all of the tasks in the weekly assignment. Okay. All right. So it's 4 o'clock. That's all from me. Thank you so much for your time. I hope to see you next week. Since some of you can't make it today, I will upload this classes recording to YouTube once it's ready. Okay. All right. With that, I would like to thank everyone. Adina, thank you for your time. Are you the only one in class? I thought there's someone else in here, but it's okay.
I think just now there were two other people.
Okay, it's okay. All right, I will stop the recording now. Thank you for your time.